Okay, welcome to the fifth module of the compiler design course on the ePathshala program. Last module we discussed regular expression to ENFA conversion. This module we will convert our epsilon NFA to DFA and try minimizing the resultant DFA also. So, the objectives of this particular module is to understand the algorithm behind converting an NFA to a DFA, which is actually a ENFA to a DFA, and then construct a optimized or a minimized DFA. So, the algorithm is the subset construction algorithm, where the state set of a NFA is thought of as a following state of the state in the converted DFA. Now, what we here do is one state of a DFA has been looked upon as the subset states of a NFA. So, NFA will have some 4 or 5 states, for example say. Now, since in an NFA there is a transition on an input symbol from one state to more than one state, in a DFA that is not possible if I have to convert. So, what we do is one state of a DFA is typically looked upon as a state consisting of the subset states of your NFA. For example, here if I have 5 states 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your NFA, your DFA's first state could be numbered as 1, 2, 3, which is actually a subset combination of 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, that is going to be the primary representation. So, it is called as the subset construction algorithm. Now, this algorithm requires us to do some pre-processing, but before that what are we trying to map? We have Q, sigma, delta, Q naught and F in your NFA, okay, delta n, and this is going to be called as Fn. Now, this Qn has to be mapped to Qd. That is what I said. Every state of your DFA can be thought of as NFA's subset states. So, here if it is 1, 2, 3, 3 states are there. How many possible states are there in your DFA? You can have 8 possibilities, which is 2 power n. Okay. So, if I have 3 states if I have n states in my NFA, I could have 2 power n states in my DFA. Sigma is the same, because both are going to cater to the same language, and delta n, okay, I have to get delta d from this. So, delta d is actually for a particular state q on an input symbol a can be thought of as delta n cap of q comma a, that is treating this as a string, and the start state of your DFA will be the what is defined as an epsilon closure of the NFA's start state. So, that is your start state of your DFA, and final state will be the states containing, okay, the states containing the final state component. The states containing the final state component can be thought of as the DFA's final state. Supposing I have 3 states here 1, 2, 3, and supposing 3 is my final state here in your NFA. In my DFA, how many subsets will contain 3? The first one 3 itself, a single 3, or I can have 2, 3, 1, 3, 2 combinations are there. Those 2 could qualify for the final state, and the last one is 1, 2, 3. So, there is a possibility of 4 final states in your NFA. This final state is also called as an accepting state. So, let us go through this algorithm. This algorithm requires you to do a pre-processing. The pre-processing is called as the determination of epsilon closure. Now, what is epsilon closure? Epsilon closure can be thought of as the set of states reachable from the NFA state, including itself on epsilon transitions only. Epsilon closure is defined as the set of states in your NFA that is reachable from a particular state on epsilon transitions only. It also includes the current state, because epsilon closure is definitely not null. Okay. For example, if I have something like this, state 1 epsilon, and then if I have epsilon, and then if I call this as state 2 and state 3, then epsilon closure of 1 is going to be 1, 2, 3. That is, I could go to 2 on epsilon, and I could also go to 3 from 1 on epsilon. So, I can call this as 1, 2, 3. That is your epsilon closure of 1. What is the epsilon closure of 2? That is going to be 2, 3, because it includes the current state along with the state that is reachable on epsilon only. How will be the epsilon closure of 3 be? It is only 3, because though there is no epsilon transition from 3, it includes 3. Okay, it is the set of states including itself that is reachable from a particular state on epsilon transition only. So, that is the pre-processing which is basically required to do the subset construction algorithm. So, the algorithm is what we have this: push all states in T onto the stack, initialize epsilon closure of T to T, while stack is not empty, pop the top element of the stack into T, and for each state u with an edge from T to u labeled epsilon, if u is not an epsilon closure of T, add u to epsilon closure of T and push u onto the stack. If you could understand what example I gave you here, epsilon closure of 3 is just 3 alone, but epsilon closure of 2 is 2 union epsilon closure of 3. Okay. Because I could go to 3 from 2, and what is epsilon closure of 1? Epsilon closure of 1 union epsilon closure of 2. Epsilon closure of 2 has got 2 comma 3. So, it is going to be 1 comma 2 comma 3. These two you will basically push onto the stack and then pop that to get your epsilon closure defined basically. So, this is what we talk about as the algorithm. So, where you push all the states in T onto the stack and initialize epsilon closure of T to T, simply that particular state alone, and then while stack is not empty. So, you have to do for all the possible states. So, this is just to say that you have to go through and compute the E closure for all your states. Pop the top element of the stack into T. So, take the top element, and for each state u with an edge from T to u labeled epsilon, that is in the first iteration from 1 to 2 there is an epsilon transition. So, only 2 will basically be fetched. If u is not in epsilon closure of T, add u to epsilon closure of T and push u onto the stack. So, again I will push 2 onto the stack back. Again I will keep on repeating till the stack is not empty, right. So, I will keep on repeating and then finally pop the top element of the stack. Okay. So, that is the algorithm for computing epsilon closure. And then after that, the subset construction algorithm, let I naught be the epsilon closure of S naught. Now, what is S naught? S naught is the initial state of your NFA. S naught is your initial state of NFA. You are defining the I naught as the initial state of your DFA. So, I naught is the start state of your DFA, and for each I such that I belong to Q, let IT be equal to epsilon closure of move of I comma A. I define something like delta D is equal to delta n cap of Q comma A. Now, this delta n cap of Q comma A for epsilon NFA, you have to compute that as an epsilon closure. So, you define and compute that. If IT does not belong to Q, then put IT into Q. So, you are going to compute a new state. If it is not there, you put that into the set of states of Q. Repeat the above step until there are no new states that could be put into Q. Let F is equal to set of all I such that I belong to Q such that I intersection Z is not equal to null. This is what we said. You have to include all the states of your DFA that has the final state component of your NFA. Okay. And that is why we say I intersection Z should not be equal to null. What is Z? Z is your final state of your ENFA, I is the final state of your DFA. So, let us take this example. This is the example which we got from our earlier one, where we converted your regular expression to ENFA. Okay. A or B the whole star followed by ABB. Okay. So, this is what we got. We are looking at this example and then trying to convert this to DFA. So, what is the first step? We said the first step is determining the epsilon closure. Now, we have to determine epsilon closure of 0, epsilon closure of 1, epsilon closure of 2, etc. Okay. Now, I am just going to show you how to determine epsilon closure for 0, 1. The other results I have basically tabulated in the next slide. So, just one example I will tell you. From 0, I could go to 1, I could go to 2, I could go to 4, I could also go to 7. Okay. So, 0 to 1 is possible. I can go to 1, 2, 4 and 7. So, epsilon closure of 0 will be 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. Similarly, epsilon closure of 1 will be going to 2 and 4. Okay. So, it is 1, 2, 4. Epsilon closure of 2 will be only 2 because I could not go anywhere. Epsilon closure of 4 is only 4. Epsilon closure of 3 is I could go to 3 is the state itself. I could go to 6, I could go back to 1, and from 1 I could anyway go back to 2 comma 4. So, that is the epsilon closure of 3, okay. And epsilon closure of 5 will be 5, 6 going back to 1, then 2 and 4, of course 7. If I could go to 6, I could definitely go to 7. So, I have missed 7 here also, okay. So, 3 comma 6 comma 7 comma 1 comma 2 comma 4, and epsilon closure of 6 will be 6 comma 7 and then 1 and then 2 and 4, and then epsilon closure of 7 is only 7, epsilon closure of 8 is only 8, epsilon closure of 9 is 9, epsilon closure of 10 is 10. So, epsilon closure of a state is defined as the set of states reachable from a given state including the state itself on epsilon transitions only. So, 0 I could go to 1, 2, 4 and 7. So, it is 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. From 1 I could go to 2 and 4. So, it is 1, 2, 4. From 2 I could go to nowhere. So, it is only 2. From 3 I could go to 6, 7 and then 6 could come back to 1. Therefore, it also includes 1 and then 2 and 4. Okay. And 4 will be only 4, 5 will be 5, 6, 1, 2, 4 and 7. 7 is only 7, 6 will be 6, 7, 1, 2, 4, 8 will be only 8, 9 will be only 9 and 10 will be 10. So, with this pre-processing, okay, let us now do the transition. Now, this is my first state. What did I say about the first state? It is the epsilon closure of your NFA's start state. Now, just now we saw in the previous slide, the NFA's start state has got epsilon closure as 0, 1, 2, 4 and 7. So, that is my DFA's start state 0, 1, 2, 4 and 7. Now, from this on A, okay, from this on A, how do I compute? And from this I have only two input symbols A comma B, okay. So, how does this algorithm basically work? I have to, from this state, I have to look at the transition on A, wherever it goes to, I have to determine its epsilon closure, that will be a new state. Again, on in all the input symbols I have to define, that will be again a new state. I have to keep, and from these two new states, I have to again define transition on all the input symbols. I have to keep on repeating this until there are no more repeating states. Okay, for example, I have 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. Let us just do on A. Okay. So, 0 there is no transition on A, 1 there is no transition on A, 2 there is a transition on A, 4 there is no transition on A, 7 there is a transition on A. So, from 0 I do not have a transition on A, from 1 I do not have a transition on A, from 2 I do not have a, I have a transition on, which goes to 3. Okay. From 2 it goes to 3. Okay. From 2 it goes to 3 and from 7 it goes to 8. Okay. From 2 it goes to 3 and from 7 it goes to 8. So, definitely in my E closure computation I should get 3 and 8 for sure. That is epsilon closure of 3 and 8 will be there for sure. Epsilon closure of 8 is 8. Epsilon closure of 3 is going to be 3, 6, 7, 1, 2, 4. Okay, 3, 6, 7, 1, 2, 4 and of course 8. Okay, 3, 6, 7, 1, 2, 4 and 8. 3, 6, 7, 1, 2, 4 and 8. So, what states are reachable from this state on A only, and for the resultant state you have to compute epsilon closure. So, how did we end up in this? 2 on 3, 2 on A will take you to 3, 7 on A will take you to 8. Out of all these 5 states, there is a transition from 2 and 7 on A, which goes to states 3 and 8 respectively. Now, I need to find out epsilon closure of 3. Epsilon closure of 3 will be 3, 6, 1, we have just now listed 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 and then epsilon closure of 8 is only 8. So, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Let us do for B. So, I am going to call this as a new state, which I am calling it as B. That is what I said, a single state of your DFA corresponds to a set of states of your NFA. This is what I meant by that, where one state contains all other states of your NFA. Okay. Now, let us take this on B, again 0, 1, 2, 4, 7 on B. So, there is no transition from 0 or 1 or 2 or 7 on B. There is a transition only from 4 on B, which goes to state 5. I need to find out epsilon closure of 5. Epsilon closure of 5 is what? 5, 6, 7 and then 1, 2, 4. So, it is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, that is what I have here as C. So, now what is the next step? I have to define transition from this state on A comma B and this state on A comma B. Okay. So, this state on A comma B, again we know that there is a transition from 2 and 7 on A, okay, which is what we defined for this case also. So, this is going to end up in the same list, okay, which is the same list B. And from here 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, we already know there is a transition from 4 on B and there is a transition from 7 on, there is a transition from 4 on B and there is a transition from 8 on B. Transition from 4 on B means we have got this result. So, it is this 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 will go to basically 9, okay, on B. So, epsilon closure of 9 is only 9. So, it is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 9. So, because we already know epsilon closure of 4 is going to be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, sorry, epsilon closure of 5 is going to be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and epsilon closure of 8 is going to be 9. So, what has happened? I have one repeating state and I have one new state. Now, from this new state again I am going to define transition on A comma B. There is already one state available here 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again we know that from this state on A there is a transition from 2 and 7 only, which is the same state. From this state on B there is a transition only from 4, which is 4 to 5, which is this particular the same C itself. From D, if I look at it, on A again it is only from 4 and 7, which is the same set. On B, of course, we have one from 4 and one from 9. Okay, A I made a mistake, it is from 2 and from 7 we had a transition on A, and for B there is a transition from 4 and there is a transition from 9 on B. So, that is why we have got this new set E. So, again I have one new state called as E here, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10. Again if I look at A, I will get the same set. For B, I will go back to C, because there is a transition from there is no transition from here on B, there is note 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10. Let us just take a quick look. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10. There is no transition from here on B. So, therefore, it is going to be the same set, which is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 only. Okay. So, this is what we have got as a new algorithm for result. So, how do I draw this and represent it? I could basically call this every state as 1, 1, call this as A. A is my start state, because that is what we started with, and A on A goes to B, B on A stays here, A on B goes to C, and we have B on A is B itself, and B on B goes to D, and we have C on A goes back to B, and C on B goes to C, and D on A goes back to B, and D on B goes to a state called as E, and E on A goes back to B, and E on B goes back to C. So, this is my automata, and which is my final state component here in the NFA. 10 is my final state component. So, the states containing 10 will qualify for the final state. So, out of the available states only E has a final state component, which is going to be the final state of your automata. So, this automata has basically got now 5 states A, B, C, D and E. So, the first step is to do a epsilon closure, and the second step is using the epsilon closure algorithm we basically draw a representation. So, this is what is the subset construction algorithm. For each I such that I belongs to Q, let I t be equal to epsilon closure of move of I comma A, and put If id does not belong to q, then put it into the q. So, what is q? Q is your set of states of your DFA. So, you are going to include, keep on accumulating one new states. That is what I said. You have to repeat this as long as you are going to get new states, or you have to repeat this as long as you get only repeating states. Okay. So, this is the algorithm, and we have done this with reference to one example, which is a or b the whole star followed by a b b. Okay. Now, this algorithm, this example is what on a practical perspective of what we have just now done. So, from the start state, I could have a transition on I followed by f, which is going to be to the keyword if. Now, at this particular point, I can say return if and keyword, okay, which corresponds to if is a token which has basically occurred so far, and the token corresponding to it is going to be the keyword. Similarly, I can also have an epsilon transition here, where I am going to have a to z which is being circulated. I can have a or this will basically be a even length string, okay, a z, because I have a loop. So, which can basically run, and then I can go to sorry, this is going to be an odd length string. So, either I can go here and then go to id, or I can basically keep on rotating here. If I know how long ever I can rotate here, I can basically end up in a odd length string which is going to go to id. Again, I can have one more variation here, which is from 6 to 7. Okay, I can have a to z and 0 to 9, which can go to 7, that could lead to epsilon. So, which can qualify for the id identifier. So, I can have a followed by epsilon followed by a to z to 0 to 9, etc., or I can basically go to e, the final state h. So, or I can have only 0 to 9, again going to be an odd length string here, and then go to that, and we can call this as a number. Okay. Or I can have any number of zeros and nines which is going to follow here. It could take an alternate path also here, which is going to again revolve around this particular position to get your final scenario. So, these are some representations of what we have seen as a conversion from ENFA to DFA. So, once I have constructed an ENFA, this is going to take a lot of time to process, whereas what we have done earlier corresponds to minimized representation. It is not minimized, but it is a concise representation of your NFA. Now, you had around what 10 states here, that has been reduced to now 5 states. Okay, you have only 5 states here. So, can this 5 states be reduced for optimum time usage? That is going to be the next algorithm. Okay. So, we have 5 states, but is this the only DFA that is possible with this NFA? So, that question should pop up into your mind, because our aim is to fundamental aim to construct an NFA, to convert an NFA to DFA is to ensure that it goes for a faster string matching. Okay. We have to go for a faster string matching, and that faster string matching is possible only if your DFA is going to be an optimized DFA. Okay. So, rather we call that as a minimized DFA. But is this minimized DFA? That could be a question. This is definitely faster in matching a string compared to your NFA which we have constructed earlier, but is that the only possibility of a DFA should be the next question. The answer is definitely no. Mostly when you do a conversion from a regular expression to ENFA and then ENFA to DFA, it is going to consume a lot of states, which is going to end up in some redundant states, and those could definitely be eliminated. So, that will be the discussion of the next case. So, where we could go for some optimization procedure. So, any pattern could be represented something like this, where we have a start state and multiple final states and anything. Now, there is an error here. Any other symbol can be looked upon as an error. That is, if I start with some some number 1, okay, 1, and then if I end up with a character, okay, that can be thought of as an error. For example, if it is not going to qualify as an identifier, but I am encountering some sequence of characters which I do not understand, that could also be looked upon as an error. So, I am interested in finding out alphanumeric characters where I have already defined a pattern for that. So, if it starts with the I or it could start with the A to Z, or it could start with the 0 to 9. If I encounter any other character, that could be thought of as error. So, the lexical phase also supports error handling for our convenience. Okay. So, what we have done in this module pretty much is we have constructed a ENFA from your regular expression, and this regular expression, this ENFA has been converted to a DFA using the subset construction algorithm, where we have looked a sample example and then converted it basically. So, the fundamental in doing that is DFA is faster in string matching compared to NFA, and ENFA is further slower. So, converting to a DFA makes a lot of sense basically. We have also understood the functionalities in the construction, which requires a pre-processing stage. The pre-processing is determining the epsilon closure only. Epsilon closure can be defined as the state, epsilon closure of particular state S can be thought of as the state S and the states that are reachable from S on epsilon transition only. So, if you could construct a NFA something like this, which is going to be probably say I have 1 here and I have 2 here. I could also go back on epsilon here, call the state as A and B. So, what strings can this possibly accept? It is 1 star followed by 2 star, the whole star, right. So, it accepts all 1s, all 2s, or I can have a combination of 1s followed by 2s or 2s followed by 1s, okay, anything is possible. So, this is difficult to comprehend, but if I convert this to a DFA, it will be easier for us to understand how how to represent this the ambiguous NFA into a concise DFA representation. So, again epsilon closure of A will be what? Set of states A and that is reachable from A on epsilon, which is going to be A comma B. Now, what is epsilon closure of B? Again it is going to be A comma B. Okay. So, both will have A comma B. Now, what will my transition basically look like? My start state is going to be epsilon closure of A, which is going to be A comma B in my DFA, and A on 1 will take you to 1. So, epsilon closure of 1 is this one. So, this is going to be 1. Okay. Similarly, B on A on 2 will not take you anywhere. So, I will keep quiet. B on 1 does not take you anywhere, but B on 2 is going to be B, but epsilon closure of B is A comma B. So, this is your concise DFA for this, and my final state corresponds to the same state itself. So, this corresponds to 1 comma 2 whole star. Okay. So, with that we will conclude this session. We will discuss about constructing a minimized DFA, and there are 2 variations on that. One is from the existing DFA and the other one is directly constructing a DFA from the regular expression. So, that could be discussed in the next module. Thank you.